Thank you. Awesome. Now, there's a few options before we begin, but if you have, if you'd like, as you interact, to message me privately, so you just change down the bottom of the chat section, you'll see where it says to. As we go along, you might have certain things or certain comments you would prefer to remain anonymous. That's perfectly fine. So I'll do my best to juggle everything and to keep an eye on the chat section as we go. So I'll just give it one more minute. Hi, Rosemary. Hi, Lana. Hi, Clean. Cool. Okay. All right, it's ticked over. So thank you everyone for joining us or joining me this evening. I'm used to having my sidekick here, but tonight you have the redhead all on her lonesome in the big green bus. So for those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Rachel Proud and I'm a diamond leader with doTERRA. So we have had the privilege of traveling Australia for, this is our 3rd year. We're coming into traveling full time with our family. So that's why you're currently seeing me in my office / bedroom. So that's why it sort of appears to look this way. What I've done, as I do last minute, is put together a little visual, because tonight the intention really is to be the voice for people that have been apprehensive about what doTERRA means and what doTERRA represents and how it can actually change your life. So for me personally, it's been quite a journey, and I hope that, you know, for those of you that don't have oils currently, and this truly is sort of your first taste of letting your guard down and listening in the safety of your own home, as to what it means to be on a doTERRA journey, or for those of you that are seasoned oilies, I hope this reminds you to never stay quiet. The importance of talking and sharing and giving this gift of hope to as many people as possible in your own way, because it really, really is something that will raise the vibration of the whole planet. So that's needed now more than ever. So I am going to share my screen with you. Can you just keep me posted, because obviously I'm not the greatest with this technology stuff. I'm embracing it as I go, and I will be sharing the slides with you. So let's do it. Okie dokie. So I'll just go back to slide 1. Welcome. It's time to thrive, not just survive. So this is truly it's the moment, I think, that really sunk into me on our journey when it first began, was understanding what it represented, what we were accepting in life and what doTERRA could do, and the resistance I was in. I didn't think it was possible to thrive. I didn't think it was possible to live empowered. So I hope that this sheds some light on our journey, and also your life and your journey as well as we go. So who are we, or who am I? Just a mum, an everyday mum of 3 beautiful boys. It's an old photo, but it's a photo of us nonetheless, who was definitely not in a healthy place. I could probably say that with all honesty. Existing, struggling physically, emotionally, sick children, and just basically going through the motions of life and health, which I do feel that most people accept as normal, with a message to share. As I said before, I refuse to be quiet and stay quiet, because I truly believe every mum and every dad needs to know that they have options. So that's what this is all about. Sharing our story meant that I only knew how the oils had changed my life. Therefore, I kind of attracted those people through my preschool at the time. And they got to see the difference and experience the difference with us and alongside us as they change their lives too. So currently our team is just under 4,000 across Australia and in over 8 different countries worldwide. That ripple effect of hope and love and transformation stemmed because I just said, what have I got to lose? So I hope that you are able to at least open your mind and your heart to the possibility that there is much more to life, and it doesn't have to be overcomplicated. You don't have to, it's not going to be an additional job for you to do. It's going to be a joy. So I'm not going to read every single thing off this, but this will give you a bit of insight into the no bullshit version of this business that I've chosen to run all this time. So now it's currently been 4 years of actively building a doTERRA business. And what that meant was that I ran a preschool for 10 years. My husband, Clint, was a detective with the New South Wales Police. And our life transformation was clear for everyone in our lives to see. Everyone personally around us, everyone at Clint's work and through my own childcare centre could see the difference that these oils were having in our lives. So it became nearly impossible for me not to share them because the questions were being asked, what are you using? You're so much more positive. You're never at the hospital anymore. Leon's not as sick as he used to be. All these very obvious quotes and very obvious changes were happening. So it was a matter of me embracing them and then helping others to learn that too. So the elephant in the room is something that I'd love to address as I share because I give a shit about people and I always will. And the reason I say that is because I truly thought that the way we were living life in response to everything was the way life was supposed to be. And when I think back to what I was accepting, it nearly breaks my heart because it's not true. Our tribe are a part of our family, which is absolutely life-changing. The people that have walked into our lives as a result of this journey, and they're the people we draw upon for our wisdom and for the learning and education on this journey. So I'm just the voice that can connect and link you to the advice, the wisdom and the knowledge that you might need on your journey. We don't stand on a pedestal. We're just as normal as everyone else. We're learning as we go. And I think one of the biggest elephants in the room is I'm not perfect. How can I begin this journey? I'm not perfect. I still drink wine. I still drink beer. I smoke cigarettes. I yell at my kids. All of that noise and all of those reasons why not. They're the reasons why you should and you deserve to at least start to trickle in these little positive changes. The greatest elephant in the room of all is I don't want to sell doTERRA. I don't want to become like you crazy weirdo. And that is perfectly fine. That's why we have a wholesale customer option, which is basically just Netflix or your groceries delivered. No different, but there's oils delivered to your door. We run our business from wherever there's power and Wi-Fi. So we've been traveling, as I said, for coming up to 3 years. We have 3 boys, we homeschool, we run our business and support our customers and our builders as we go. So I'm just going to pause this stop share for a moment and come back to you guys because I have a question to pose to you that I would love to read your comments on and get some feedback. And that is, if you already have oils, one, what was the story you were telling yourself as to why you couldn't begin or use oils? So if you are brave enough to share it privately to me or public to the group in the chat, what was that story you were telling yourself? And if you currently don't have oils and you're here thinking, I am so glad I'm not sitting at an awkward party in the lounge room with this crazy redhead, what is the story you're telling yourself as to why you're apprehensive about beginning? And be as honest as you want, because that's what we're here for. That's what this space is about. So I'll give you a moment to interact. He's not here in person, but he's here in spirit. So my darling husband has written pre-doTERRA. They'll never work. Oh, Cass. Yeah. Absolutely. So I didn't have that story. I had nothing to lose and everything to gain. So that is definitely a really positive. We do have quite a few people that come to us and just say, look, the difference I'm seeing in the people's lives around me, why wouldn't I open my heart and my mind to this? What have I got to lose? Rosemary, yeah, absolutely. It seemed too good to be true. My first response, and language warning, was, what the fuck are they going to do for me? That is the God's honest truth. And I remember I had a baby on my hip, a shitty nappy in my hand, and my phone in my ear at the preschool when I was being told about these oils. I just could not comprehend their point, their purpose. It was just, I just couldn't, until I had my aha moment, which I'll get to in a minute. I thought it was all nonsense until a friend gifted me the oils and they worked. So that is exactly right. You really need to experience them to believe them. And I was ready to jump right in. Sarah says, oh, I think we have. Yeah, so that's a very similar one. It was the fear around what other will think if you become like those other weirdos. So that's a very real one that has come up quite a bit. And again, that was very much attached to my own story. So thank you all for, opening up and being vulnerable and sharing that. Okay, so let's get back to this. So that was the story, and that was the interaction, and that was, this is the question that was posed to you. It's what you want. This is why I want every family to know that. This is why I need to keep talking, keep sharing, not keep forcing my views down people's throats. So I was telling this story the other day to someone and they laughed, because I had a big hang up around what healthy people are supposed to look like and act, how they act and how they live. And I was really in my ego, like really judgmental. I was accepting what I was told by people in my life. Our middle son was constantly in hospital, constantly sick with, ear infections and bloody, what are they called, grommets and UTIs and you name it. It was just this roller coaster of absolute rubbish because we couldn't get ahead of it. And that's why I will never stay quiet, because what people don't understand is this isn't a witch hunt. This isn't about someone coming to us and we're going, you're hopeless and you need this. Or it's just not about that. What it is people coming to us and saying, look, I need help. Is there something that can bring some light in or assist us out of? And my heart just explodes in those moments, because I can feel that they're really ready for change. They're giving up that blindly, oh, I made a mistake there, sorry, are you blinding? It's supposed to say blindly. Are you blindly accepting what is? That was my story. I was accepting that I was glorifying busy. I was supposed to be stressed. I was supposed to be run off my feet running the preschool. My husband was supposed to be just as stressed as he did shift work. It's normal to visit the doctors 3 or 4 times a week and the chemist. And it's normal to expect to be sick exact same time every year and exact same cycle every year. Isn't that right? Isn't that just what happens to busy families? That is what needs to change. And it doesn't change because we're blindly going, oh, we reject emergency care and we reject modern medicine. There's a place for both. But real health is when you're not dependent upon things that are going to really have side effects and the things that are going to really cause more problems. So Helen says, I didn't think I could afford doTERRA oils. She had been buying oils at the markets and wanting desperately to learn how to use them. It was something she knew she wanted to learn more about. That's the truth as well. People look at the price tag and go, oh my God, how am I going to do this? And that was me. My mum bought me my first kit. I had to pay her back. Thanks, Mum. That was awesome. I didn't see their value. I didn't understand what they could replace. So that's what we're talking about. This is what this call is about. So are you living the definition of insanity? I was. So that meant that I was doing the same thing over and over in life, emotional, physical health, but expecting a different outcome. So the wisdom that I present to you is a good old Eminem quote. If you had one shot, are you going to take it? This could be your one shot and that one opportunity to change everything. So if you already have oils, you might be thinking, I'm already on this journey. But the thing is, and the truth is that you're going to constantly be challenged. You're going to constantly be challenged to up-level yourself, to better yourself. So, you know, for me, it started with my very first workshop was at my own home with a mat on the floor. And I said, the door's open, anyone can come, because I felt comfortable doing that. I had a cask of red wine and a cask of white wine. I shit you not. And some cheese and bickies. That was who I was. And because I remained myself, but I was allowing in goodness, and I was allowing in dropping my ego and allowing in something new, I was able to connect with more people. And what happened was that turned to organic red wine, organic white wine. I'm just saying that there's a process, but it cannot start if you just have your blinkers on and your judgment on. So that definition of insanity is something we can all change, and only you can call bullshit and say, look, I've had enough. Something's got to give. If you already have oils, this happens regularly. You'll be challenged to up-level yourself again because you feel ready for growth. Someone new might come into your life and pose a new idea or a new lesson, and you can either choose to accept that and elevate yourself, or you remain where you are. But the journey won't start unless you actually allow it in. So as an example of what doTERRA did for us in no particular order, it became, I didn't know it all. I couldn't be expected to know it all, but I knew what I didn't want to feel. So that was the way I approached it. Actually, to this day, it's still how I approach this journey. It's how I advise other people to approach it. What do you want to change? It's them, not me. I'm just the messenger. I'm just here to link people together who can help each other. So as an idea, I started saying, well, instead of using that or reaching for that straight away, I might reach for this first. What have I got to lose? See how I go. Then it became, wrong one. Instead of waiting until I feel absolutely horrible, because I can recognize that that's a cycle, and I know the way that I feel prior to feeling that way, I'll interject and do this first. Then it shows I haven't used such and such in a very long time or in ages, because I now use this. So those patterns and behaviors are so gentle when you have oils around and you're grabbing for the peppermint instead of other things to assist with temperatures and to assist with tummy pains and to assist with all those very everyday things. You can start to grab for something more natural to see the difference and experience the difference. Then you start to say off the cuff to people, oh, have you tried that instead of this? And you don't even realize you're saying it, but once you've experienced it, you can't go back. And then oils became a staple in my life and in our lives, and we can't remember life before them. So when we catch up with people and we have those cups of tea, I've had a lot of cups of tea and coffee. That's how they're called wellness consults. We generally ask these two things. What do you want to feel more of? Tell us 3 ways you want to feel better or more of, and 3 things you want to feel less of. So if you have oils and you have been using them for quite some time, comment what it was for you that you wanted to feel less of and what you wanted to feel more of, so people can see the kinds of things that come up so naturally. In the meantime, I'll give you some examples of what the most common things are for us that we get questions. I would love to feel like I had more energy. I would love to feel calmer around my children. I would love to feel not so helpless. So, and that's usually when it comes to that fear and panic around predicting or knowing that X time of year this happens and I've got nothing I can do about it. And I want to feel less lethargic or less bloated. I want to feel less agitated and angry. I want to feel less tired. I want to feel, and then there's some coming in. Clint wrote, less sick. Yes, you did have the flu coming on. Rosemary, I want to feel calm, stronger immunity and more focus. Helen, 3 things I want to feel: more calm, happiness and more overall health. Kath, less stressed. We're all human beings having a human experience. And what I'm most proud of with this business is that we don't make excuses anymore. If you feel something, do something about it. Pretty simple, pretty harsh to someone that might not be ready to hear that kind of blunt advice. Like I wasn't very early on. I used to think, oh, rightio, up yours, like this is perfect. But all I'm trying to say is, and all I'll ever try and advocate, is that we really need to start taking accountability for the way we feel and know that there's options. We always have options. So, yeah, Helen says 3 things I wanted less of was stomach pain. That was me too. Anxiety, that was me too. And grumpiness, that was me too. These things are so common. And what we find within our group and within our essential oils network and our support groups is that you're around people that it's totally okay not to be okay. It's totally okay to talk about the things you're going through. It's totally okay to have your own story, to be vulnerable, to confide in people without judgment. It's just, that's what I absolutely love. So feelings of overwhelm, anxious thoughts, energy, craving, deep sleep, or we have they're some of the ones that we've brought up in the chat, and they're some of the most common that we have. Then we have people come to us that are just absolute, got nothing to lose, sort of exactly what Kath said earlier. But for us personally, we had that much going on in our lives in terms of reoccurring health things that kept coming up. Then I had this vision of what I would just love life to feel like. I would just love to breathe again. That is why I said this webinar had to be to breathe again, because it's the only way I could describe not having that angst and that heaviness in my heart every time I heard a cough, or every time winter would roll around, or every time I seen a green snotty nose, or every time they said, oh, my ear's aching. It just put the anchors on, and my fear and my anxiety rose so quickly, which affected everything else. We had that much going on that we needed a mixed bag. And that is the Essential Collection is what we began with. And that's basically a family, I call it the family health makeover. But it's everything from supporting your respiratory system to tantrum tamers, all your moods, starting on moods and emotions, skin support, muscles, tummy, you name it, it's in there, and it's really simple. So one of the things that I was really confused about, because I get confused quite easily, no comments from you, my husband, in the chat, is, you know, I call it the 2 Panadol twice a day mentality. It sounds horrible, but what I mean is, and comment if you agree, but I was brought up, or our generation was sort of brought up with, you have this problem, 2 Panadol twice a day, you're good to go. So that just meant one size fits all. That just meant there was the pain point and the solution. And most of the time the solution was never accurate, but we just accepted that, right? So when the oils, when there were so many uses, and then there's this app, and then there's like, I can search up for this ailment, what I can do to support myself, I was like, my God, I feel like I'm in science, and I feel like I'm going to add 2 oils together and it's just going to explode. I actually thought I could do that. It was supposed to be difficult. What I love about doTERRA is that they've done all the hard work for us. This isn't supposed to be you at your witch's cauldron with your frog's eyes and your, you know, you know, whatever you want to think, or your herbs and spices, and it's just too difficult. They've created ready-made blends for us, and I picked digestin because it's probably one of the most common used blends. When I say blends, it's a combination of all the individual oils that support your tummy and your gut health. This can be diluted with coconut oil and applied directly to your tummy, and it is so commonly used in this house daily. It can be popped in 2 drops in water. Clint does that regularly, and he sips on it when his tummy or he's eaten something that he shouldn't, but he continues to eat it because he's a rebel. Rosemary says digestin was her gateway oil. So everyone has something or an oil that was like, that's it, I'm a convert. So what was that oil for you? Put it in the comments so we can talk. Ours was peppermint, or mine was peppermint. Clint was the biggest skeptic ever. But peppermint, so for us, so sad. But whenever our kids needed medication to assist with their body temperature, I would literally have to dive on them, pin them down, squirt in their mouth, and hope to Christ that some of it went in. Isn't that horrible? That was, I don't feel well, and that was my only response. Like, you know, you try the cold bath and the whatever, but it was not a positive experience. There was no care in that. One night, the tears and the screaming and the crying, and we're yelling at each other, and we're do this, do that, and we had nothing to assist us except peppermint oil on the shelf with my beautiful essentials collection. When I popped that on his heels, I had a bit of an epiphany, like, hang on a minute, that was easy. Then I grabbed my preschool thermometer and I literally watched it take effect. And I cried a lot. And then I ran in and told Clint, and I said, we've been missing something here. Now, let me stress that this isn't about saying anyone that uses medication to bring down temperatures is evil. They're necessary at times. Temperatures aren't something to be mucked around with. Personally, I was just saying that was the biggest pain point in our house and in our life. It set off World War III of an evening every couple of nights. And in an instant, I had something else I could reach for to see if it could help. And I've never been disappointed since. So the gateway oil, and as you can see in the chats, everyone has a moment where they think, hang on, there's something more here. There's something more to this. This is why we've got thousands of wellness advocates that actively sample so many people, because you truly need to experience this to be believed. So as I said, ours was peppermint, and then we branched out to gut health, to hormones. But yeah, it's just incredible, the power of these oils. So Kath says, I brought the Home Essentials kit mainly for digestion for her gut, and it helped her grandson with wind, which obviously is pain and wind. And she was a believer. It really does work. And yeah, kids have no filter. They will tell you if it's working or not. Sarah says ice blue for growing pains. So that's obviously our muscular blend. So everyone's is different. So what I want to do is just disclose to you what a doTERRA journey means to me, and why I'm so passionate about helping people understand and to remove that elephant from the room, that just because you say yes to your health and to possibilities of having another option that might save you from needing more intervention, you aren't tricked, or there's no ulterior motive. It is what it is. You have these oils that you choose, the area of life, you might start with 1 oil or 10, but it's based on your terms at your pace. So what I challenge people to do is something I came up with when I look back and reflect on my own journey, and that was embracing a new way of living, a new concept around what was possible. So the white coat mentality, basically I needed to stop taking people's words for it. Not just people in white coats, but people that told me that that's just the way life was supposed to be. So I needed to start surrounding myself with people that thought outside the square, and that instilled curiosity in me that challenge me to be a better person. There's no one way or the other. It's not, we have so many people come to us and say, look, my son's been on this medication. We've just found the right medication for his X, Y, or Z. We're really happy with that, but he could really do with some emotional support. You beauty. We will come in and work with you and open and send you samples and develop a wellness plan with you to help support him emotionally through that time. It's not about getting rid of something all the time and replacing it totally with another. It's complementary to one another. So being one step ahead of your old story is huge. So what that meant was no longer accepting that that's just the way life's supposed to be. So making your health and your wellness an absolute priority. There's simple ways, subtle ways. So it could just mean that for what it's worth, you're going to reach for this oil instead of that product. And for every time this oil does the job, you're winning, and your body's winning too. Little subtle things like I'm going to start my day off with a positive affirmation accompanied with some aromatics, or I'm going to add an oil into my sleep routine because I really deserve to have deep sleep. Little habits, or you can, which might evolve into much larger and more broad across your daily routine and your evening routine as well. What you will do, and as Helen mentioned before, is you'll start to see the value and the difference in doTERRA compared to other brands and other oils. So let me be very clear. There's approximately 290 drops in a 15 ml bottle. So a drop is more than enough. So for 290 times you can achieve an outcome. Factor in the cost of the oil and do the math, and then tell me that they're too expensive when you're possibly eliminating something else you would normally buy. So when it's a priority in your life and your health is a priority, the expense isn't even factored in because the results are out of this world. So just be very mindful that even that can be an excuse that you're telling yourself to keep you off this living empowered, to keep you living in your old story. So, which leads us into the accountability phase. So dropping the excuses. It's hard. It's not easy to call yourself constantly, to hear your language and think, I can do better than that. But what you'll find is that's a process as well. That's your self-development. We have lots of audio books and lots of different online classes and groups that you can participate in that will fill your cup, you know, and that will help you see that you're not alone on your journey either. The solutions that can be that you can uncover are endless. So as I said, it's not a 2 Panadol twice a day mentality. It is complex, but it's only as complex as you make it. So if you have a pain point in your life, pain being just the word I'm using, but if you have an area of your life that you are just fed up, you've had enough, and you know that there's something more you can do, this is where doTERRA can help. This is where the community of doTERRA people can step in and support you to achieve that. So the learning and support, shopping and online access, and living with solutions. They're the 3 steps that to a doTERRA journey. Taking out that fear of, oh my God, if I go to this woman's party, she's going to make me extremely uncomfortable, trick me into buying something I don't need, and all of a sudden I'll be presenting a class in front of strangers, making them buy stuff. Like, that's dead set the biggest stereotype ever of direct selling, and it needs to go because the world has changed. Direct selling and direct marketing for us in doTERRA is because it's a privately owned company. We have our own voice. We aren't dictated by anyone. That's our power. So if you choose to journey this because of one area of your life, or you're ready for an overhaul, it's your choice. Self-led, but supported by our community. So be very mindful, as I said, if you're not joining because of the fear of what other people may think or think of you, or not beginning a wellness journey because you'll feel like a hypocrite, me too. You know, and every now and again, I look at the life we've created. I look at the fact that my husband was able to retire from the police force. I was able to give up our family business, and we've been traveling thanks to our amazing doTERRA business for nearly 3 years. It's provided us abundance out of this world, and abundance is still something that I'm working through and with personally, because I just said yes because I was tired and fed up with my old sick story. And look what's happened as a result of me continuously saying yes to myself, that I deserve better, that I'm worth more. And in turn, being able to show and lead people that want to do this as a business, but also my customers, our customers, that just want to be happier, that just want to have less distractions and less disruptions in their life when it comes to physical and emotional well-being. So as I said earlier, I think I said it earlier, but this is complementary to what you're already doing. So if you have a routine and you're afraid to make too many changes at once, just allow the oils in, get to know them, experience them in the area that you desire, and start from that place. It's not the same for everyone, okay? This is not only just for us, but for future generations. So Kath mentioned before it was for her grandson. For me, it was for my middle son on the far right of that picture, Lenny. In the beginning, he was the reason that I just felt so helpless. He was the reason that we were in hospital a lot. It wasn't his fault, obviously, but my love for him was, and my helplessness I felt with regards to these simple things that were compounding and causing so much chaos in our lives. I had to surrender, I had to wave the white flag, and I had to try something new. So that's what I'm most proud of, is that when people come to us and start and believe in themselves and start their own doTERRA journey, which means get wholesale access and start learning, I know the difference it can make, because we're living proof. You know, we are living proof of what's possible. Our children help themselves. We've got care back in the healthcare of our family. If they're feeling anything, they go to the oils box. They know what to select. They know how to safely apply that to them, the older boys. I wouldn't let Ned anywhere near them because he'd just throw them around, and they're way too valuable for that. But my point is, their generation, I know for a fact, 3,500 families that are attached to our network, they all have children, if not grandchildren, if not siblings. There's a whole generation of children that are going to be living differently, asking more questions, not taking one person's opinion as gospel, seeking alternative therapies in all ways, shapes or forms, relying on what Mother Nature provided for us. Reading and learning about the history of essential oils, and the science meets nature, and the evidence that's out there nowadays is astounding. But doTERRA isn't on a mission to discount other modern medicine. In fact, it's here trying to complement it, just trying to allow it to all be one inclusive, beautiful journey that everyone lives empowered and everyone has a choice. It's not just one way. So regardless of your circumstances, please know that doTERRA is something that will complement your life, and will, that's something that I know for sure. So how it works, 3 steps. Find your weirdo, tell that weirdo what you need, and become a weirdo yourself. Pretty simple, isn't it? That's it? No. It seems that that's the case, and that's what a lot of people would love to believe. The truth is, you do need to find that weirdo. When I say that, I mean find the person that lights you up, that hears you, that sees you, that you feel comfortable with, that you feel no judgment from, and allow yourself to be vulnerable. Drop your guard and hear what they have to say. Tell them the areas of your life that you could do with additional support. And accept that the experiences and the wisdom that they're sharing with you. If you're ready to begin a doTERRA journey, you can choose how you want to begin. So what I love is that you get to design that too. It's not about us saying to you, okay, behind door number 3, we have a $7,000 kit that you need. It's not about that at all. It's saying, okay, this is the truth. And I say this 1,000 times a day. You can activate a wholesale account for $35. Then you can log on at any point and shop at your own pace. That might mean 1 oil a month, 10 oils a month, or 3 oils a year. I don't care. All I care about is that you're using your oils and that you can live empowered enough to check your app, to do your research, to reach out to the people within our community for help when you need it. Or you can choose one of the kits that doTERRA have put together that are a little bit more packaged into areas of need. So there's the emotions kit, and there's the family essentials kit. There's a home essentials kit with a diffuser. So there's a few ready-made kits. They, when you purchase them, you don't pay that $35 wholesale fee. It's waived for you. You remember, you join. Step 3 is you begin your own wellness journey on your terms, at your pace. You get the apps, you get the support, you get whoever you join with. It really is that simple. Okay, so the overcomplicating it and the telling yourself or convincing yourself there must be more to it, it's got to be too good to be true, this is not for me, please let that go, because everyone deserves this. Find your weirdo. So why now? Like, what's the big deal? Well, guys, I knew that when I got to the point of feeling completely helpless, I realized that our health was the most valuable thing in our life, and we could no longer afford to be sick. And that meant financially, I could not afford to close my childcare centre anymore. I could not afford to pay our bills because I kept having to close all the time and not work. Physically, I was masking every single thing wrong with me. I was in hospital as well for things that I could have just paid attention to and got to the root cause of. But I was emotionally drained. What happens when you're emotionally drained? Everything falls apart. You start blaming other people. You start projecting your negativity. Your relationship with your significant other suffers. You hardly sleep because of the stress of your finances and your relationship. And everything comes undone. And people tell you that that's normal because you're a busy young mum who has a career. And it's not normal. And we need to stop telling people that that's okay and that that's just life, because it's absolutely not. So that is why we do this job. That is why we live this life, because we want to be that voice and that messenger to show those everyday people that there's more to life than accepting that. So why now? Why not now? Because every single choice that you make now is going to benefit you in the long term, and you're leading by example when it comes to your family. Yes, there is an oil for bloody everything. I'm not kidding when I say that. The difference is, as I said, they're complementary to what you're already doing. Your areas of need that you desire some more assistance in, they're self-led, they're your choice. We're just here to guide you and to give you options. At the end of the day, this is your journey. And you can choose to be overwhelmed by the fact that there's an oil for everything, or you can choose to focus on the area of your life that you know you're ready to change. So the options for people that don't already have oils, jump on to, so you might have arrived here because you're attached to another oily support network. We are so grateful that you were here to hear this advice, and we hope that it resonated with you. Please return to that person if you are ready to jump on board. The people that are attached to our Holistic Health Haven network or referred here by someone in our network, jump over to our website, have a look at the enrolment kits, and pop in the referrer ID section the word breathe, so we know that you attended this webinar. You will also be sent links tomorrow to everything that we've spoken about, and directly to our website as well. So these are just some of the crazy people that we are surrounded by on a daily basis. And yes, they thought it was a great idea to pick me up after a business training. You'll notice that I don't like wearing shoes very much, and that, yeah, you just get what you're given. So we are super grateful for everyone around us, personally and professionally, who call us on our shit, who see us in all of our absolute every card on the table glory, and who grow personally and professionally with us. If we don't have the answers, sure as shit we know someone who does. So that was my little slideshow that, can I just mention, I'm super proud that I didn't totally stuff up. There was a few typos in there, but I just whacked that together. Now is the time that I would love to pick your brains, and I'm going to read a few out in the meantime. But I want to know, in one sentence, how doTERRA has changed your life. So if you can write it in the chat section to share with everyone that's on this call, and those that are revisiting this call, would be greatly appreciated. But I love hearing how doTERRA has changed your life, and I'll tell you how it's changed ours. So we went from feeling absolutely helpless. One of the particular nights that I was in hospital, we had a little room where we slept and did shifts to go over and sit next to Leon. I wrote in a diary, and I wrote, I'm ready for change. I can't keep living like this. This is not normal. And the tears that were falling are still visible on the page, or they've dried, but smudgy ink. I walked out of the room because they were taking more blood, and I didn't have anything left in me to stand in that room and watch them take more blood. So thankfully there was nothing majorly wrong with our beautiful son, but that's the very thing, right? There was nothing majorly wrong. What happened was we were living this fast-paced life where we were masking all those little things that were underlying, all those little things that we could have paid more attention to, that then became big things. And that's what happens when we just get so caught up in what life's supposed to look like, that we forget how we feel is important. What we use is important. What we apply is important. What we eat is important. All of the above. That's why this is so important to us, to continuously challenge people to ask bigger questions, to know that they have options, and to know that they don't have to settle for what life is like currently. The oils, yeah, so Helen's favourite blends I can see are sitting here. I've got the same ones on my desk here. Easy Air for respiratory support. Oh, it just moved up. Digestion for gut health. And it just moved. Lavender, oh my gosh. We have like 10 bottles of that. We've got one in every handbag, every baby bag, every swim bag. Sarah, it has given us actual solutions for the whole family and sent us on an amazing journey. I can vouch for that. Helen, it means Helen now has a huge box of essential oils. Oh, so Helen's family travels as well in their bus with their two beautiful girls, and they have their oils in their bus as well every day, sharing with everyone they meet. She makes up perfume. She made up 2 perfumes for women that celebrated their birthdays this week. That's awesome. And they were both evacuated from the fires. Sending love to everyone that's been affected by those horrible fires. They are by far my biggest blessing to come into our lives. I can definitely relate. doTERRA has helped my kids not get sick so often. help with their pain and sports injuries, or sports pain and injuries, and put a stop to the constant ear infections, helped us all sleep better, and anxiousness is a thing of the past. The list could go on. I just got covered in goosebumps. To always have an alternative or complementary option to support the health of my family, from physical support, a low-tox household, which is creating visible benefits in our skin and health. Oh, we're still going to convert your husband, hey? That's cool. Don't worry, if I can convert a detective, we can convert your husband. No, just lead by example. So I just wanted to share with you at our latest social catch-up with all of our team, we asked them to write how doTERRA has changed their life on some post-it notes. So I just wanted to read a couple of them to you guys, just to see the varying differences, because as I said, it's so important for people to be for me to be very realistic about this. Not everyone is, a green organic hippie that eats kale and does everything perfectly. Not everyone is that, and that's perfectly okay. Some people are the complete opposite end of the spectrum when they feel just as helpless and ready for change. That was us. We all need to stop judging each other for our imperfections and just accept that we're all trying to improve ourselves, however that looks and however that appears. And that's what I'm most proud of. I'm most proud of the fact that we can see our own behaviours for what they are, and then we can also allow positive changes to trickle in, and having the oils around us to expand from just one oil changing our life to buying another one when we're ready, and to researching on the app what that one oil can do and learning about that for 3 or 4 weeks at your own pace. It's different for everyone, but the impact is profound. So these are some of the things that people wrote on the post-it notes at our last social gathering. My house is free of chemicals and I love the feeling of using natural products. I am in control of my own health. I am cool, calm, collected and capable. I have the tools to support my family, being surrounded by people who support and encourage personal growth. I am happier. Depression, anxiety, snoring, etc. I no longer worry or rely on painkillers. Emotions are so much better. I'm more happier and my hormones are also smiling. Oh, legend. I have healing and love at my fingertips. I know I have all I need right here. And this one was one of my dear friends wrote, and she goes, I know it doesn't seem important, but ironically, this is the one that hit home for me. I no longer visit the chemist as much because I'm able to support my family naturally. This is an amazing company who are changing the world. This is one of my friends who doesn't want a bar of anything more than just not having to rush off every day or every couple of days to the chemist or to the doctors, and she was so stressed and so caught up, and so much like my old story. I will go to the doctors if I need them. I will visit a chemist if I need to go. I'm not saying that that will never occur. I'm just saying that if I can, I will reach for these little babies first. And if they do the job, I'm winning, right? That's as simple as it gets. It's the long and the short of it, as they say. We haven't even gotten into skin, into hair care, into home cleaning, into detoxifying. So you would have heard and seen in the thread a few snippets of all the areas of life that you can start to do replacement spending. So you can look at what you're currently buying and what you could do better. That's at your own pace as well. So I remember thinking, I'm so grateful I no longer have to buy this because I have this. Then I started to think, okay, well, I buy all my hair care from there and I buy all my skin care from there. Why wouldn't I get 25% off and buy it through my doTERRA shop, direct to my door? Okay, well, I'll do that. So it just became a way of simplifying and detoxifying at the same time. So that's another area of my time and effort and out there shopping for things that I didn't ever know if they were actually good for me. Just because the branding and the advertising looked pretty, I believed it. You can start to open your mind and your consciousness to be a little bit more open to the truth behind the products you're using and the things you're using in and around your home that might be adding to the toxic load in your system and for your beautiful children as well. So we're getting close to 8:30. I can't believe we're actually running on time. Helen says, I also get to create my own beautiful skin oil for my face. Yes, and your skin does look beautiful. The apps that we have, which the Modern Essentials Plus app, which Helen has commented is incredible. And we also have a Droply app that we share with all of our tribe as well, which is more of a community app that people can post their own recipes and ideas and blends and ideas for everything from gardening to cleaning to gut health, you name it. So there's ample support. But what it really comes down to is the fact that you have a choice to make. Are you really ready to start making some positive changes? Is 2020 the year that you're going to give up your old story, stop accepting that that's just the way life's supposed to be, and actually start to do something when it comes to changing your health? I am not perfect. Clint will testify here that I've even said, right, I have not been perfect in taking my lifelong vitality supplements. I need to start focusing more on my emotional health and well-being. Like, it's just incredible that we can own it and have an option at our fingertips in our own home, have the support here ready to go. It's not just some wishy-washy dream that one day we will. It's right here and now, because that's the only place to be. To finish this evening, before I finish this evening, I'd love to thank you all for your interactions here. And I hope that for current people that already have access to beautiful doTERRA and living empowered, we are so happy for you. We're so proud of you for backing yourself and for believing that you are worthy of an incredible existence. For people that are, you know, still on the cusp and still curious, reach out, get samples. We can send samples. Reach out to the person that's, you know, you've been liaising with. Believe in yourself. Honestly, if you have nothing to lose, you really do have everything to gain. So make this the year that you drop your excuses, drop the story, and start making that progress forward. I picked 4 cards this evening, randomly, in no particular order. And I would love to share them with you. My fearless freedom lights up the world. So I don't know if you'll be able to see it because I've got a bad camera. But I think that's pretty profound. It's not easy to be different from the herd. By different, I mean to back yourself, to say, look, that's just not working. I might try this. You're going to stand out. You're going to look a little bit weird applying lavender instead of whatever. But do you really care? I don't care, because I know how it makes me feel. And I know the success stories that come in continuously about how these oils can change your life. Attack, pain, fear, judgment, and any form of separation are merely calls for help. So I think that that is a great segue from what I just said. You know, those real negative people, opinionated, standing in ego, standing in projecting, is just fears and all the apprehensions. Stay in your own lane, decide what's right for you and your family, and don't justify it to anyone, because there's no need. You know what's right for you. I am a spirit having a human experience, and I'm here to get closer to love. So that is beautiful. And I once went to an energy worker, long story, I'll share it another time, but she said, something that really hit home for me. She'd done research for years and years and years and always used essential oils. And when she found doTERRA, she said, they are the purest vibration on this planet. And she said, when she said that, I was like, their energy, their vibration, the purest vibration, the most recognized vibration, or the currency of the whole universe is love. They are love. They're self-love, their love of everyone else, their love of the earth, and their love in a bottle. So I just loved that card. Energy flows where my intention goes. So I chose to finish on that one because really at the end of the day, I can sit here and tell you all this fantastic stuff. I've watched enough webinars to know that right now I'm supposed to sell something to you. I actually find it really funny. I looked up the how to run a webinar about 6 months ago when I was teaching myself how to do this craziness. And it was just like robotic, run of the mill, do this, that, pitch them, keep them hanging and sell them something. Oh, Jesus Christ. Can't people just be real? Can't people just create an opportunity, create space for people to make informed decisions? That's all this is. So your energy is going to go and it's going to flow where your intention is. If 2020 is the year that you're deciding to make better choices in your life, go out there and seek the opportunities to bring that to reality. If we're involved in that, or doTERRA is involved in that, you're going to be 10 steps ahead of the 8 ball. So thank you all for your time. It's 8:31, so I'm one over. But yeah, I love you all and thank you for your interactions. And we look forward to our next webinar. Keep your eyes peeled. Lots of love. Goodbye.